Greetings, everyone. Well, 13 Hours of Halloween continues as we continue our in depth look at all 10 Halloween movies on Halloween this Halloween. So, we'll be talking about what many consider to be the bastard stepchild of the Halloween franchise, but one that has gained a lot more respect in recent years. Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. Today on the Multimedia Chronicles. Now playing. So Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. This was actually the last one that I owned on VHS back in the day. And I went into it knowing full well that it had nothing to do with the previous two installments, that Michael Myers wasn't in it. So I was really curious as to what it was going to be about. Now, I should mention, much like the previous two, I own multiple editions of this now. So this, of course, is the one from the collector's set here. But I also have the standalone collector's edition from Shout Factory, or Scream Factory. The Scream Factory division of Shout Factory. Let's take a quick closer look, shall we? Ta-da! So this line you see here is not a blemish on the slipcover. It's actually part of the artwork. It's part of the style of the artwork. And this is one of the few cases where I actually left the sticker on the artwork because it's got kind of the silver shamrock motif. Quite nice. So I really love these collector's editions. Very, very nice indeed. And the slipcovers often contain different stills from the movie on the back as well. So as you can see, as with most Scream Factory releases, absolutely loaded with extras. And if we open it up, it's just a single disc in this case, but we do of course have the reversible cover with the slipcover artwork on the inside. So even if you miss out on the slipcover, you can still get the new artwork on the sleeve itself. So of course, whenever I have the slipcover, I like to have that with the new artwork and then flip it around to the original poster art on the back. There we go. Alrighty, so to say that this one is different than the other Halloween movies is an understatement because it's very different. This one is really interesting, and actually I've always really liked it a lot, even back before it became popular in recent years. I think a lot of fans reevaluated it in recent years and sort of realized that, you know, it didn't matter. That it didn't have anything to do with the Michael Myers story. As a standalone Halloween horror movie, it's actually pretty damn good. And I'm glad to see it finally getting some love after all these years. My friends and I always really liked it and didn't have a problem with it being unrelated. I mean, my understanding was the original idea behind the Halloween movies was that every year they would put out a new movie and it would be something different. It would be some different Halloween-themed horror movie of some kind. Maybe not every year, maybe every couple of years, but whatever. Each one would be something different. It would be basically an anthology horror series. But when the first one was so popular, the studios wanted a sequel, and they wanted more of Michael Myers, more, slasher movies were really taking off. So they did a second part that had to do with the Michael Myers story. So then when it came time to do a third one, it's like, well, okay, let's do what we originally wanted to do and now turn it into an anthology series. So they did that, and everybody hated it. Because solely based on the fact that it wasn't another Michael Myers story. And unfortunately, it got kind of swept under the rug and shunned for a good many years. And it's only, maybe in the past, not even 5 years, I think, that it's really gained something of a cult following of its own. And a lot of people have come to respect it for being its own thing. Now that said, what did I think of it? Well, as I said, I've always really liked it. It for a lot of reasons. I mean, you've got the obligatory evil witchcraft storyline. You've got some Stonehenge mysticism mixed in there, and you've got these creepy, cold-faced killer robots that, to me, were very reminiscent of the killer robots that we had in stuff like Westworld and the fembots from the Bionic Woman and a little bit of Village of the Damned, Stepford Wives kind of thing going on there. And so it resonated with me because it, to me, was a horror movie version of these other sort of sci-fi concepts that I'd enjoyed as a kid. So, I really dug it. So the basic story is, it starts off with Dr. Chalice, Dr. Daniel Chalice, played by the always wonderful Tom Atkins. Love that guy. He's a terrific character actor. He's been in a lot of notable things over the years. I think the first thing I remember Tom Atkins from was Creepshow, actually, where he played the kind of asshole dad who didn't want his kid reading that comic book crap. Yeah. But, and then since, of course, I've seen him in Night of the Creeps, Thrill Me, and then, of course, Halloween 3. But it wasn't actually until recently that I saw him in Night of the Creeps. So Halloween 3, Dr. Daniel Chalice gets, there's this man who comes in and to the hospital, and he's just crazed, and he's desperately clutching this pumpkin Halloween mask, and he's like, they're going to kill us all. He's just like rambling and incoherent. And then the man ends up getting killed. This strange guy shows up in the hospital and kills him in bed. Quite brutally, too. Basically just pushes his thumbs into his eye sockets and crushes his head. Like he gouges his eyes and crushes his head. And then the guy goes into the parking lot, goes to sit in his car, douses himself with gasoline and sets himself on fire, and the car explodes and he burns to death. And so there's this big mystery, like what the hell just happened? So the daughter of the man who came into the store wants to find out what happened to her father. So she kind of teams up with Dr. Chalice, and they go off to do their own investigation. The only sort of lead they had was the Halloween mask that he had, that he was clutching in his hands. So it's like, okay, it's from this company called Silver Shamrock, so let's find out where they make these things and see what's going on. So they begin their own investigation to try to find out what happened to her father. And then over the course of it, they get kind of romantically entangled because, there's no better way to deal with mourning the death of your father than having a lot of sex with a guy you just met 2 hours ago. Hey, we're in movie land here. Things happen a lot faster in the movies than they do in real life, so we can let that go. Plus the fact she's, very inviting to him. They set up in a hotel and he's saying like, oh, okay, maybe I should, I'll go to get another room or I can sleep in the car. And she's like, where would you like to sleep, Dr. Chalice? And she's just like giving him these goo-goo eyes and all kind of pouty and coy, and it's like maximum coyness, and it's just like sproing. Like there's just no question that we're on the same page here, and you're wanting a little dirty motel action. So okay, cool, I'm down with that. But not to mention the fact that Stacey Nelkin, who plays Ellie, the daughter of the salesman, is just so cute. Like, she is just beautiful. A beautiful, beautiful woman. And totally the type that I personally find attractive. Like, the kind of petite, a little bit freckles, brunette hair, and, like, just dark, doe-like eyes. I just, love that. But, anyway, carrying on. A lot of these reviews have been like, yep, I thought she was really hot. But if you watch my Troll 2 review, you'll see what I mean. But so they investigate what's going on, and it turns out that there's something strange about the masks that this company is producing, and the Dr. Chalice, Tom Atkins' character, he's separated from his wife, and his kids have these masks, and he's getting a little concerned about it because it seems to be all connected to these Halloween masks, and they're like just being marketed like relentlessly, and they're like the big hot new item of the season. And there's basically just three masks. There's a witch, a skull, and a pumpkin. And interestingly enough, all Don Post masks, the only one of which was made specifically for the movie was the pumpkin. The skull and witch masks were both slightly modified versions of existing masks that Don Post Studios produced. So, kind of interesting. It's all about Don Post masks with this series, I swear. Like, the original Michael Myers mask was a Don Post William Shatner mask as well. So, it's kind of interesting that that just became... I mean, they're like the biggest manufacturer of Halloween masks in the world in real life. And these Halloween movies are using those in the movies, which I think is great. There's symmetry to that. So what we end up with is a pretty interesting mix of genres here. So we've got the witchcraft genre. You got Dan O'Herlihy as Conal Cochran, the head of Shamrock, of Silver Shamrock. And I just love him to death. He's such a wonderful actor. He plays such great villains. And I love the way he plays this character, because essentially he's orchestrating the end of the world, essentially. And the interesting thing I find interesting about him and the way he plays it is as he's telling Dr. Chalice about what's going to happen and what the whole sort of scenario is, he seems almost regretful about it. Almost like he's just an instrument of fate, that this is something that needs to happen because it happens every few thousand years, and he's just answering the calling and making sure that it happens, essentially. Or you can see him as just pure evil, whichever your preference is. But I'm speaking specifically about his performance, like when he's describing things, like when he's saying how, even a small particle of the Stonehenge material is added to the Silver Shamrock logo and put on the mask, is even just a small particle. Devastating. Like, just the way he says it is like almost regretful. And when he's talking about how the river, the hills ran red with the blood of children and innocents, and that this is just something that happens every 3,000 years. And even when he supposedly gets defeated, he knows it's too late. That there is nothing that they can do to stop this from happening. It's the masks are everywhere. They're the big hot item that every kid wants, and every kid's going to be wearing. And there's nothing they can do to stop it. It's like, great, you destroyed the factory, but so what? The masks are all out there. There's nothing you can do about it. So, yeah, so in addition to all these other genres, the killer robots, the witchcraft, the Stonehenge, supernatural stuff, you've also got an end-of-the-world story, which, this is not a story that's going to have a happy ending. And you get that impression very early on that there is, it's great. They can find out what's going on, but there's literally nothing they can do to stop it. Like, literally nothing. They're too late already. By the time they figure out what's going on, I mean, it was too late before they even started investigating. Like, there was just no way. But yeah, I just love the whole sort of sense of impending doom in this, and also the ways in which people get killed in this are really quite shocking and horrifying at times. For example, there's the one woman who's discovers the sort of computer chip on the back of the Silver Shamrock logo, and she starts picking at it like an idiot, and then gets blasted in the face by the laser thing, and you just see her like her face is just completely blown open, and she's still alive and twitching and like freaking out. That's horrifying. And the makeup job on this on that was fantastic. Like the visual effects in this are really quite top notch, I have to say. Like they did some great, very, very disturbing makeup effects, and then some of the deaths, like the robot minions and how they kill people is, I mean, it's quite disturbing as well. Like there's the one forensic scientist who's helping out Dr. Chalice. She's investigating the remains of the one who burned himself, and as soon as she comes to realize that, at first she thinks it's just car parts. It's like, yeah, somebody mixed up the evidence bags and sent us car parts, but it's not. It's parts of the robot that were in the, because that's when she comes to realize it was a robot. But as soon as she makes that realization, one of the robots shows up and kills her, and in just such a cruel, brutal way, basically takes a drill and drills her through the head. And, you know, it happens off screen, but it's still very disturbing because you know what's happening. And what you've got going on in your imagination is far more disturbing than anything they could have shown on the screen. And I like that. I mean, that is balanced well. I mean, what you need to see in terms of the kills to sort of see the horror is shown, but what you don't need to see, and is actually better if you don't show it, isn't shown. So that's very well balanced, I think. Who directed this one anyway? It was Tommy Lee Wallace. There you go. Yeah. So Tommy Lee Wallace definitely knows what he's doing, and knows the right time to show it and the right time to leave it up to the viewer's imagination. I mean, another really horrifying death is when Dr. Chalice meets up with this bum on the street, and they share a drink, and he tells him about what's going on. And at this point, I think he's lost. Is that after the girl got kidnapped? I can't remember. You got to understand, I've watched all 10 of these back to back, so the memory might be a little fuzzy on some of the details. Anyway, he shares a drink with the bum, and then he tells him what's going on, and the bum has no love for Colonel Cochrane or Silver Shamrock or just what it's done to the town. And so he, gets his information from him, and Dr. Chalice goes away. And then the robot guys show up, and they corner the bum, and one of them literally rips his head right off with its bare hands, like just pulls his head right off, and it's horrifying. And again, extremely well done practical effects there. But yeah, just fantastic. I really like this one a lot, and I enjoy it more and more every time I see it. So yeah, so I guess we should. I honestly don't know what more I can say about it. I mean, it's an oddball entry in the series, but I kind of wish that they had continued down that path and done more anthology horror, or maybe even had a secondary series to the Michael Myers story that would be more anthology horror, because I would have loved to see all the different interesting things they would have come up with. I remember reading a Leonard Maltin review. I had one of his like big, thick movie review books where they just had like short little one-paragraph reviews of movies. And Halloween 3 was given like a 1-star rating. I think it was given a bomb rating, actually, which is as low as it gets. It's like below 1 star. And the review was something like, eye gougings, head drillings, and just all around repulsive 80s style horror. Repulsive 80s style horror. Which is funny to me, because now the 70s and 80s are looked at as kind of a golden age for horror. The second, like the big boom of horror where, effects were really coming into their own, and gore was really being pushed to the limit, and just a wonderfully experimental period for horror. I mean, the 70s and 80s, I don't say this just because I'm an 80s kid, but the 70s and 80s to me are the pinnacle of, semi-modern horror, because there was just so much creative stuff going on in that era. And I think Halloween 3 is a good example of that, because here we had a big franchise that could have just kept doing the same old, but they dared to do something different. And while it wasn't fondly regarded at the time, it has since become fondly regarded, and rightly so, I think, because, like I said, if you like stuff like Westworld, I definitely, and you know, a good old fashioned witchcraft or end of the world story, I definitely recommend checking this one out. Even if you haven't seen any of the other Halloween movies, it doesn't matter because this doesn't have anything to do with those. So check it out just as its own thing. You know, I think it'll be a pleasant surprise for you. So I should probably pick a chocolate bar here. I think I will pick a Kit Kat because Kit Kat has absolutely nothing to do with this movie, since this movie had absolutely nothing to do with the other Halloween movies. I do love me some Kit Kat. So, quick thank you to my Patreon sponsors, especially my highest level sponsor, Kyle Pellegrini. Really appreciate the support, dude. And big thanks to all my other Patreon sponsors as well. Really appreciate your support, too. And big thanks to you for watching and sticking it out for the 13 hours of Halloween. Hope you're enjoying so far. We got quite a few more to go. Well, I guess I should probably stop this review. I should just stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it! Greetings, everyone. Well, 13 Hours of Horror continues with Hour 4, or Halloween 3. Yes, we'll be talking about... Fuck. Greetings, everyone, and welcome. Fuck. Greetings, everyone. Well, 13 Hours of Horror... It's not 13 Hours of Horror.